The V8 Touring Car Series has a fearless leader at the top in Ryan Simpson. He impressed in the Carrera Cup on debut recently, and then there is the second place, Justin Ruggia, making the most of worldly experience. And this weekend, the talent is bolstered by the return of former champion Tony Evangelou. Great to see you, Tony. How excited are you to take on this formidable lineup, because you know how to win? You've got the track record here.
Oh, look, yesterday the rains came out, so it was pretty difficult. We had a bit of a moment down in turn one, and it hadn't been in the car since last year in Sandown. So to get back, it was really good and exciting. Good.
You missed the first round, so what are the ambitions for the year?
We're running a couple of saloon cars with young Benny Grice and Brent. So we're just going to do the rounds that we can with the V8. So we'll see how we go. We're not sure we're going to do all the rounds this year, so we'll get as many as we can.
Double duties, it's never easy. A year older, a year wiser, more skills, perhaps?
I think a lot of them are saying we're getting a bit too old, but to run with these young blokes like Ryan and Justin, they're going really well in the category. So if I can run up with them and give them a bit of a run this weekend, it'd be great.
I'm sure you will. The battle at the top will no doubt be fierce, but don't be fixated on that, because the battles throughout also promise to impress.
Race 3, Kumho Tyres V8 Touring Car Series at Winton Motor Raceway in sunny central Victoria. They say if you don't like the weather in Victoria, stick around, because it'll be different 5 minutes later, and that really has been the case this weekend. Torrential rain on Friday, overcast and grey, and some drizzle on Saturday. Today's a beautiful day to be at a racetrack, and Ryan Simpson starts this one from pole. Tony D'Alberto alongside me. I guess we've talked about that battle between Simpson and Ruggia, but behind them it has been feisty for the miners.
It has this weekend. There's been a few action battles going on, and a few bent panels as well. So hopefully this race we can get some clean racing and no more bent panels, because no one likes that.
With that victory, Ryan moved into second outright in the most race wins category in the Kumho Series. That was his 14th victory. Of course, 3 at Mallala added to the 9 that he scored in a row at the end of last year's series. So the next man on the list is Terry Waihoon. Little birdie tells me he might be back later on this year, Terry Waihoon. He's still got a vested interest in this series with Image Racing, so I wonder if we'll see Waihoon back in that, just to try and challenge Ryan Simpson, of course, one of the many former champions in the Kumho Series that has been going for a couple of years now. So cars are on the grid. They'll get ready for a start. Steve Briffa has been in the thick of the action. Where's the red number 5 car in relation to the yellow number 8? Because those two have spent some time together this weekend.
So you're going to hear the guys in the limiter now, probably using 30-40% throttle. And away they go.
Good start between the two leaders. Very even between Ruggia and Simpson. Good start from the Poco Commodore. Simpson will muscle Ruggia out at turn 1, but it's busy behind, and Delsma goes around after contact with Simon Taverneau. That ex-Brad Jones Racing Ford Falcon. Both cars stuck on the exit at turn 1.
That's a shame. These guys look a little bit feisty in this race.
Jada in the thick of it too, needs to fight his way forward. Here's Evangelou. Told Starter Motor dramas in race 2 that saw him go to pit lane early on.
I'm hoping Tone can have a good race this time. He's been a good addition to the championship in the past, and I've done quite a bit of racing with Tone, and it was great to see him on the entry list going to this weekend. Hopefully he can have a good final race.
Yeah, it's been a tough old weekend. Ended up buried in the mud in race 1 on Saturday, and the dramas yesterday meant he started from pit lane, and then just to rub salt into the wounds, got a pit lane penalty for crossing the blend line on the exit of pit lane. So that's a real shame. He's right in the mix here though. Once again, we've got this feisty little battle pack for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th place. And Evangelou right on the tail of that in the Cat Ford.
You can see a little bit of damage there on Teb's car. He's got the old handy race tape holding it together.
How many times have V8 supercars, or V8 touring cars indeed, been held together by race tape over the years?
Absolutely, that was a great move as well by Teb down the inside, just to grab that extra position.
On board with Evangelou. He's run down towards turn 1. Fast entry. There's a big bump in the braking zone there too. TD that unsettles the car, and maybe that's what's happened to Matty Palmer, because he didn't get the thing turned in, and he's bounced across the undergrowth and come out on the exit of 2.
Yeah, he just locked a tyre there. You see Charter still dancing on the way into the corner. We saw that in race 2, and haven't quite fixed that problem yet, so it'd be nice if they could settle the car down on a brakes. I think it would help their lap time a little bit.
Here's the start. This is on board the Poco Commodore, Steve Briffa. Matt Charter just muscling his way through on the left, and there's the lock-up and the contact that saw Simon Taverner get into Chris Delsma. Definitely Taverner drilled Delsma there, so a drama in breaking at turn 1 perhaps. Evangeli still applying the pressure. Briffer in front, hanging it out.
So he's struggling to get the power down there. As soon as he touched that throttle, just squeezed it on. Here he goes down the inside. Great move. Yeah, as I was saying, he was trying to squeeze the throttle on really gently, but the car's just not accepting it. Straight into oversteer, so the car's probably not behaving the way we'd like.
We should mention that while the sun is out, it's still pretty chilly here at Winton Motor Raceway, so it's probably not much more than 18 or 19 degrees in terms of track temperature, which is reflected in the lap times. They're not particularly special in this race, so they will be still working to get tyre temp up in the Kumhos in this one. So that might explain a little bit why they are struggling to put the power down. But that was a good move by Evangeli, showing his experience in class there and really starting to work his way forward into the race. And Charter now down the inside, rear end dancing round. It's been a trademark of this weekend, but he gets himself back to third.
I'm starting to think that's the way they like to set this car up. He backs it in MotoGP style and gets the move done every time.
Bit of Marc Marquez into the corner, perhaps, slide it round, or Shane van Gisbergen in the main game, your old rival. Likes to slide a V8 supercar around.
Out on the curb.
Oh, caught it. Good catch.
See, that's a good catch. I've actually hit that curb quite a few times testing around Winton, and it's once you hit it, it's very hard to recover the car, so nice work.
So he's clear now in third place, and we'll see if he can make any inroads onto Ruggia, who's a little bit further up the road. Evangeli has been one of the big movers. Teb is his next target down the inside. A replica of the move that he did before and gets it done. So Evangeli goes to P4. He's charging in race 3.
He's just blown the cobwebs out Friday, Saturday, and he's into it today. He's having a really good run. Great to see.
Saved his best till last. So this is the ex-Jason Bright Cat Ford. This is an ex-Mark Scaife Holden Commodore. So some great histories in these cars. And Teb doing a really good job. He's sort of bounced between cars, raced an Gary Rogers Motorsport Valvoline Commodore for a season or two in the Kumho series, but has traded up into the HRT machine this time around. Briffer behind. And there's Matt Palmer in the STR Truck Bodies ex-Brad Jones Racing Falcon in the mix as well. They sort themselves out in the minors, just take a breath and calm themselves down after a frenetic couple of opening laps here, TD.
Absolutely. Once again, we see Ryan Simpson just got that little break on Ruggia, and I'm sure Ruggia's doing everything he can. Oh, slides it on the back again.
I'm beginning to think more and more that this is just the way he likes to drive a racing car, Matt Charter.
I think you're right. He seems pretty comfortable with sliding that car around. I might have to get some lessons, a bit of drifting lessons.
He's going well. He's third.
He's actually not losing a lot of time to those front guys, so it looks a little bit rugged on the way in, but he's got an onboard here. Oh, Teb out on that curb like we were mentioning, and as I was saying before, it's very hard to get the car back to the apex, so perfect example of what I was talking about.
I worry when those two are together on the racetrack after races 1 and 2. Briffer and Teb, it has been exciting all weekend long. So another lap down for the race leader. Just a case of racking up statistics at the moment, but he's such a good benchmark for anyone looking to come into the category. If you think you've got the stuff and you come into Kumho V8s and you beat Ryan Simpson, you know that you will have done a very, very good job. But let's not take anything away from Justin Ruggia. Remember, first year of serious car racing after a bit of background in some Formula 4 testing, some Aussie racing cars, but mainly from the computer gaming world, from the iRacing and sim racing landscape. This is his first proper year at car racing, and he's doing a super job.
Yeah, totally agree, and we'll probably harp on about it a little bit, but you know, Justin hasn't got a lot of experience, and I just admire, you know, how he's going about it. So he's not happy running second, but he's definitely taking the challenge on, and I can see him pushing really hard, and you know, I think he'll get a win by the end of the year.
I don't doubt it. I think that's a fair statement to make, the way he's been progressing. Next round at Queensland Raceway in Ipswich might well suit his style. He's planning to head up to Townsville with the rest of the Eggleston Motorsport team for the next round of the development series to watch those guys work. And we're talking good guys, Paul Dumbrell, Gary Jacobson, guys that have got a lot of laps in main game and development series cars. So what better way to learn than from your teammates.
Yeah, and I think Gary's actually here this weekend helping Justin that little bit, just with maybe a bit of driving technique and just little tips, you know, how to get the tyres in, how do I start the car, how do I get the car off the line. Those little things that might be just giving that little edge over Ryan Simpson, but perfect opportunity for him to go to Townsville and learn from guys like Paul Dumbrell that have been there, done that, won Bathurst, you know, so perfect guy to learn from. We're on board now, and let's have a look at how he attacks this Winton Motor Raceway. From my point of view, very, very smooth driver, and let's go on board.
So you can see a little bit further up the road the leader, Ryan Simpson. Now, this is your old car, Tony D'Alberto, and a little birdie tells me it's got an interesting name. Would you care to elaborate on that?
You might be right. If you see on the console on the onboard there, it's got Crystal. And back when we owned this car, well, just before we owned this car in 2006, we had Crystal from Big Brother. And I was a bit of a fan of hers, so I thought, hey, everyone names their race cars. I'm going to name mine Crystal. So you could say that I took Crystal for a few rides around the racetrack.
That's a great story. Well, Justin Ruggia is doing the job. He's P2, trying to close that margin down.
I've got a drama here.
Well, that's Tony Evangelou running fourth with what looks to be big damage to the rear end of the Cat Ford.
Might have a Watts linkage problem there. I don't think he's come into contact with anybody.
And wasn't really running in too close with anyone either. So this car limping back, we imagine, to pit lane. It's been a rough weekend for Tony. He's had great pace in this one, but dramas in race 1, 2, and now 3 as well. Ryan Simpson has started his final lap here at Winton. Race 2 had all the action. This one's been a little bit more of domination from Ryan to take win number 6 for the season if he can get through the last, well, 2.5 Ks now through turn 5. Great corner to watch these cars work there too.
Yeah, great little corner this one. It's quite a tricky one on the braking approach into the right-hander here, but he'll be taking it easy now. He knows he's got this one in the bag, and what a great weekend for Ryan Simpson.
Well, he already holds the record for most race wins in a row in the series at 9 last year. This will be his 6th in a row, so he's going out after his own record in the Kumho series, and those that keep the record books up to speed will be pretty busy just adding stats alongside the column that has car number 88 and Ryan Simpson alongside. Ruggia gets closer every time though, and as TD mentioned earlier, you can't help but feel that a win will be in his future at some stage in the second half of the season. Well done to Ryan Simpson, the Sonic Motor Racing crew.
He hangs it out at the last corner there. Yeah,
good slide. Celebrations for Simpson and Sonic, 3 from 3 again, this time at Winton. The first time was Malala. He's backed it up in round 2 of the Kumho series. He takes a big win. Ben Eggleston will be over the wall there for Ruggia, who grabs second. The Eggleston Motorsport car. Delsmer a lap back in the Fujitsu Ford. He had a tough day. And there's Matt Charter, gets home in 3rd place. A solid finish for the youngster. Just his 2nd year of V8 racing. Here's Briffa.
He's had an interesting weekend.
Interesting, to say the least.
Great results there in P4, bring it home, and I don't think he had any carnage in that one, so nice work.
No, he won't have to do any more repairs on that car. It copped a few hits this weekend, but a great deserved result in the end for the Poco Commodore. Palmer 5th, a good result too for the STR Falcon ahead of Tabanor, with Chris Delsmer rounding out the top 8, race 3 of the Kumho V8s.
To be honest, you know, we had to run to a pace in that race. With tide degradation around here, we're really struggling. But, you know, I managed to find a consistent pace that I was comfortable with, and the other guys dropped off at the end, so I was happy with that.
Well, the 6 in a row streak now for Ryan Simpson, and he has a comfortable lead at the top of the Kumho Tyres Australian V8 Touring Car Series standings after 2 rounds. Justin Ruggia sits second, Matt Charter third, Palmer up to fourth after a consistent opening few rounds. Tabernaur, Briffa and Smurden next on the leaderboard. Chris Smurden dropping down with a no-show this weekend.